You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
It is 1 o'clock. We are in Atlanta, Georgia, and this is
Let's Talk Venezuelans.
welcome, my friends of the America's Web Radio. Hello, David Moxley. Hello, Britt. How are you? Okay, we have a lot of things to comment today.
We got a lot of
today-
things to talk about.
Yes, today is the 75th anniversary of the dropping of the atom bomb. 75th. Yes. Of the dropping of the atom bomb in Hiroshima.
Oh,
Okay.
That looks like what happened yesterday in Beirut. Did you see the big hole that thing opened up? Oh my God! Did you see the big hole? How it destroyed the whole?
Only an idiot, because only an idiot had put 2,750 tons of ammonia on a deposit almost in the downtown of a city. It's incredible that somebody so idiot to put that kind of material, very dangerous, over there. But
You know what? You know what that
it
reminds?
happens.
You know it happens. You know what it reminds me? That what happened yesterday.
What?
You remember you read the Bible?
Yeah.
Do you read the Bible? You guys
Yes.
read the Bible? Know a little bit of history of happened here, happened there with with Israel enemies?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you remember that one when they were like 10 times more soldiers than the Israelis, and they were saying, "Oh, we're gonna die here," and then the Lord sent them the bees,
The hornets.
the hornets. The Lord
The
God
hornets.
sent them the hornets, and they killed themselves.
Yeah.
This look like
Yes.
they
because-
killed themselves.
Because what happened in reality was
Uh-huh.
that they were disembarking some weapons from Iran to Hezbollah.
To Hezbollah.
Yes, and suddenly something happens that create the primary explosion. Okay, that leads to the secondary explosion. It was the big one. Okay, so the thing is that the intentions of these people to disembark those weapons, and you know that those weapons were to be used to Israel. Okay,
Against Israel.
against Israel.
So Israel was the target.
Israel was the target,
Oh,
basically,
Lord.
and suddenly this happens,
Mm-hmm.
and some people said that this was an intelligence operation. No, when you disembark weapons, you must be very careful.
Even how
because
to place them, right?
you know
A
it's
little simple drop.
a little simple drop can destroy you. Yes, it happens in Havana, Cuba.
Wait a minute. That is the same ingredient, the NTN, like.
It's
when-
very
Same
similar.
thing as the Oklahoma bombing.
It's exactly the same thing of the Oklahoma bombing.
It's the same ingredient.
Yeah,
they
but in Oklahoma was just a truck,
Uh-huh.
and these were a deposit of 2,750 tons
Got it.
of that material.
You
Got
might
it.
say that was the Big Bang Theory.
Yes, it was a big bang, definitely.
But did you see how the Lord protects Israel? Do you see how the Lord protects Israel? Because we are talking about Hezbollah.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about Antifa. Well, there's no much difference, right? I mean,
Well-
Hezbollah, which is one of the most dangerous terrorist group besides ISIS and Hamas.
No, you left out
What did I
another
left
one.
out?
The People Liberation Army of Palestine.
Okay, that's another one.
That's the group
Mm-hmm.
where Hank Johnson met when he traveled over there.
What? You telling me that my contendant, I mean, the one that I am,
Yeah,
I am trying to get his seat to capsize, like he
Uh-huh.
says,
Yes.
that guy met with the terrorist group.
Yeah, that's the
Palestinian
and
for
what-
liberation?
And what happens? What is the link with Venezuela? Very simple. We used to have. Do you remember a guy named the Jackal? Okay, the Jackal was a Venezuelan terrorist. And do you know who he belongs to? The People Liberation Army from Palestine.
From-
That is a left
I thought
Marxist.
he was on Batman.
The jackal.
No, he was. He's right now. He's in a prison in France with two life in prison charges and 18 years charges also, because he had killed around 65 persons in France, and he was the guy who brought the Palestinian terrorism into Europe. So, and this is the terrorist organization who Hank Johnson reunited when he went over there.
That was in 2014 or 16.
16.
16. And
Yes.
2 weeks later, he referred to the Jew community as a termite. Since then, he's been conducting
A campaign.
campaign against Israel, not only international by calling them by those names, but also promoting the boycott for any product from Israel, causing division.
Divest, boycott, divest, and whatever. That's
DBA?
DBA, yes.
Mhm.
So he has very close vincles or links with the international terrorism. And what is a U.S. representative at Congress meeting with
But
a
hold-
terrorist organization,
But hold on,
basically?
hold on. He was not the only one. Was 5 of them who met with these people.
Yes, but this
he
is
was the leader.
But this is the one that you are fighting against.
Yes,
And
exactly.
he was the leader on this meeting. Okay, and nothing happened. Nothing happens.
Nothing
Okay,
happened.
but I'm very concerned that a U.S. representative is meeting with terrorists. And do you know something? You do not deal with terrorists in any form.
They're liars. They're cheats. They're out to destroy the United States.
They
Ex-
don't
And
hold
Hank Johnson's part of it.
Yes.
They don't hold on until agreements. They only hold on some agreement at some point, but not the full term. Only to some point until they get their hands up. For example, the agreement that Muhammad did in Mecca with the Jews, the peace treaty, supposed to last 7 years, right? And in the second year, he got up. He got all the equipment that he needed to kill people, and he killed all the Jews in the city of Mecca. He did not respect the agreement. The agreement. So
And yet-
that's what they do.
And yet, yesterday, Israel offered Lebanon help if they needed it.
Well, Lebanon is a sort kind of exception in the Middle East, and let me explain you why. Lebanon has a long history they used to be Maronite Christians. Maronite Christians is a church that is before the Catholic Church.
Okay, but not under Gaddafi.
No, but Lebanon is not Libya. Lebanon is the Phoenicians. They are one of the oldest cultures in the world, and they used to be a Christian nation but during the 60s, when the Palestinians get into Lebanon, they become a majority. The Muslims become a majority, Shias and the Sunnis, and they began, as soon as they have around a third of the population, they began wars against what is established. There is a name for this thing, and it's known as the Lebanation of a country. It's where the Muslim get into a society, and Lebanon was considered the Switzerland of Middle East, and Beirut was known as the Paris of the Middle East, because they were a very open society. Yes, come over here. We
it's France today.
Yes, we welcome you with our open arms. And do you know what happens? Between 1970 and 1990, during those 20 years, they had 2 wars. One was a civil war, and the second war was an invasion, an operation against the Palestinians that were attacking Israel from Lebanon. Okay, and it was those incidents of Sabra Chatila. Do you remember those incidents in the Middle East, where some mercenaries get into these Palestinians refugee camps and kill a lot of people? Okay, that happens during the 80s. So during this, between 1970 and 1990, the population shift to be around 70% Christian, and they shift now. The Christian only represents 25%.
So they got rid of the Christian.
Yes, and they took over the power, and now Lebanon is a firm ally from the regime of El-Assad from Syria, and from the people of Hezbollah, that is the people that is very connected with Iran. And what happened yesterday was just 2 days ago is simple, that something happens. We know for good via different agencies that told us that it was 2,750 tons of nitrates that were in that deposit for at least 6 years. Okay, and they were disembarking these weapons in the same place, and something happens that the thing explodes. I remember that in 1961, a ship, it happens in Havana, Cuba. There was a Belgian ship that were disembarking weapons on Havana, and the ship blew up. Okay, so this is very common. It's more common that you think. But fortunately for the Cubans, they didn't have 2,750 tons of explosive or wheat or something that that can explode very, very harsh, as I witnessed in the videos. Okay, but it was some kind of miracles, because the IDF, the Israel Defense Forces, immediately they know that something very bad happens in Lebanon because the seismographers detected that explosion, and they said this is not a earthquake. This is an explosion. Well, we'll be back in a moment.
Want to give your family or loved one the perfect gift? Then go online and check out the tornadobodydryer.com. I love mine and the warm heat air massage it gives me after my shower. The Tornado Body Dryer is super. You'll love it, and you'll love having one in your shower.
Whether cruising the strip in a 57 Chevy or taking the family on a vacation in a 71 Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser, you need to tune in to Classic Cars with Steve Ronaldo and Jim Weber every Saturday from 8 to 9 a.m. on americaswebradio.com.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the americasbroadcastnetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
And now we're talking about some run, okay? And I'm not talking about the people who see the explosion and said, "Run, cover." No, this is another kind of of running.
I mean, you can talk and you can say is this, is that, but I'm telling you, this have to be God. I am not. I mean, you can give me the explanation that is scientific. And this occurs frequently, but when it comes to Hezbollah having that amount of chemistry, whatever together in one place, and that thing suddenly explode, that means that was targeting Israel, that was targeting probably Christian countries. I don't know. I mean,
I think they were.
The Lord was. I mean, for me, the Lord is behind all this.
I think they might be bringing some kind of heavy weapons such as missiles or something from Iran. But that's a speculation. Right now, all that is rubble. Now, we have to say thank you.
To who?
To Mr. Tom Spiegelon from the Covington News. Mr. Spiegelon wrote the first article in a newspaper of your career as a politician.
Woohoo!
Okay, and we have to thank him about that.
Thank you.
Okay, and it says, Isamudi talks run for Congress. Johsie Cruz Isamudin said, step up when others would not do so, challenge a sitting congressman for one of Georgia's 14th U.S. House seats. The House seat represents half of Newton County, and the congressman in 7th-term incumbent U.S. Representative Hank Johnson, Democrat of Lithuania. Isamudin was unopposed for the Republican nomination for Georgia 4th Congressional District seat in the June 9th primary. She will face Johnson in the November 3rd general election. The district includes western Newton County, all of Rockdale, and part of DeKalb and Gwinnett counties. The candidate said she has visited city council meetings and churches and is using Facebook to get her name out in an area which Johnson is well known after almost 20 years as county commissioner and congressman. I'll go to their house if I'm asked, Isamudin says. She and her campaign also were very visible at mid-July when that raised funds for legal fight against Newton County's planned removal of the Confederate memorial statue for the center of Covington Square. By the way, Judge extend deadline for legal arguments on halting statue removal. Okay? The Newton County judge is given those supporting Covington Confederate statue another 30 days
Okay.
to make their case it should remain in the middle of the city's downtown area. Superior Court Judge John Ott on Wednesday, July 29th, also ordered the county government not to move the 114 years old statue while the issue is still pending in the court, except by further order of the court. Okay, that belongs to another thing, but it's related on what you did.
Yes.
Isamuddin said she wants to work to bring federal funding to the district to assist with everything from infrastructure and economic development to supplying police with needed equipment. Johnson only operates one field office now off I-20 in South DeKalb County. Isamuddin said she wants to operate up to 4 field offices to make them more accessible for more District 4 residents. People want to have that direct contact, she said. A native of Venezuela, Isamuddin immigrated to the U.S. at age 23 and eventually became a citizen. She works in the health insurance industry and admits she can empathize with people who have experienced real-life financial challenge she faced after 2 divorces left her with little money. She said she understands the daily struggles her former countrymen are facing and oppose socialist President Nicolas Maduro, whose authoritarian leadership has left the oil-rich South American country in an economic turmoil and under U.S. sanction. Isamuddin first got to involve in politics by working for former President George W. Bush's elections in Florida in the 2000s, she said. After moving to Georgia, she was part of an Atlanta area Latino group working for President Donald Trump's election in 2016. She also helped Karen Handel get elected to Congress in 2017 and for Brian Kemp in 2018 campaigned for governor. Isamuddin admits she's a political novice and has never run for elected office. Just like Trump, she said. She said she waited to see if any other Republican would challenge Johnson before announcing her candidacy. No one did, and she chose to challenge Johnson for his seat on the second day of the qualifying, March 3. The Republican then totaled almost 23,000 votes despite no opposition in the primary. She openly admits she lives in Marietta and not in the 4th Congressional District. However, she also points out that the Constitution only requires U.S. House candidates to reside in the same state they are seeking to represent, not the district. Democrat Jon Ossoff did not live in the 6th District when he ran against Karen Handel in a 2017 special elections, while Republican Marjorie Greene moved into the 14th Congressional District only weeks before she qualified to run this year and was the top vote getter in the crowded field seeking for the seat June 9th. District 13 U.S. Representative David Scott, Democrat of Atlanta, also does not live in his district. I want to be honest. I didn't want to hide anything, she said. When I get elected, I will move to the district. Samirin's campaign manager, that's me, Cat Fletcher, said that he believed she had a chance to win because she's a new brand for voters. She had a lot of experience, he said. Johnson's campaign did not respond to a request for comments.
I'd like to interrupt here and throw this out. We've supported Johsie since day one, and you all have been doing the show, and because I wanted the information on Venezuela as well, and that was the first idea. With that being said, I'm sure Johnson or some of his people are listening at the moment, and I challenge him. My name's David Moxley. I own the station, and I challenge you, Johnson, to come explain why Guam is falling into the Pacific and some of your other stupid statements that you've made. Be glad to have you call. The number is 470-223-4979. I doubt that you have the intestinal fortitude to come and do a debate with Johsie here on the air. And we'll do a special time. We'll do whatever if you have the intestinal fortitude to stand up to her. With that being said, this coming Tuesday, which is the 11th, Josie's going to be on Victor Armendariz. Not bad for a white boy. Is going to be on Point. Josie's going to be on Point with Victor Armendariz, and it should be a great, great show. Again, that would be a good show for you to be on, Mr. Guam falling into the sea. And, you know, if somebody goes to his record and looks at the statements that he's made over the years.
Oh, yes. Yes, he has a lot of records about the little people, midgets
and termites
for the Jewish. You know, he had a lot of shameful things.
He said, but we have to look at what he's doing.
Exactly.
Remember the tactic. He says something here to get us distracted, but we are not putting attention what he's doing right here in the bottom.
Yes.
So what he's doing in the bottom is promoting boycott for any product from Israel. You know, when you boycott a nation, you are condemning that nation to hungry and economic stress.
Yes.
Right?
But he's an specialist to impoverish people. Look how the fourth district is.
Yeah,
so
his fourth district is, you know, Conyers is one of the eighth city, the poorest city in the country.
The worst, the eighth.
You wonder where the money's going. I bet Mr. Johnson's pockets are bulging with dollar bills.
Well, he has a lot of support, economic support in his campaign. He already has more than $500,000 in his campaign, and we have nothing. Today I had to deposit $350, okay, and we got out of the red zone on our account. You know, that's how bad we looked right now. But we have faith, and we have a lot of people talented that is helping us right now.
Yeah, and those people, because we don't have money, they are just helping because they see the need that we have, and they see the challenge, and they're answering. Like, for example, I have one volunteer, right? He's awesome. He says the Lord woke him up at the middle of the night. He was sleeping, and he got a dream. You need to help out Johsie Cruz, the candidate for the 4th district. So he started looking who's Johsie Cruz it is. So finally he got in hold with this man right here.
Yeah.
Say it.
Okay.
His name is Anthony Holcomb, and he's an angel. Really. He's my right hand, my left hand, my right foot, my left foot. You know, something. He is this kind of people who really move and shake the tree, really. Okay, and do you know something? He's a guy who's deeply, he has a mesothelioma, that a long condition that he barely can breathe. And he has to go to the places with a oxygen tank. And even though he has an energy and he has a passion, and that's what God says. You can be cold or hot, but don't be what's the steel, right?
In the middle?
In the middle. No.
Warm?
He's really passionate. He's really hot.
And he's sick.
Wow.
And he's sick. So there is a lot of people out there who are healthy. They don't see the necessity of helping. They don't see the needs of the district. This man who is sick woke up because he said, the Lord just told me that I have to help you. Carlos immediately enrolled him. We received him with all, and he brought some volunteers with him. Actually, this afternoon we have to go back and meet him because he's gonna introduce me to other people who wants to help out too.
Fantastic.
So, fantastic. So my group is growing now. I need to put David in my group as the communication.
Yes.
Because of the radio. With your permission, because
Sure.
you are helping a lot. So I want to put you in my board, like the communication. Carlos, you find out the
Yes,
right
of course.
position for him. Because I want to show people helping District Number 4 is not only, I'm going to bring only black people to help out. I want to bring everybody. My campaign is about unity. And when I say unity, I want to bring the white, the black, the Asian, the Latino, the Hispanic, the Native American, I want to have
the minorities like the Indians.
India, from India.
People from India already made contact with us, and they want to help us. So suddenly we are
The
gaining
Lord is
momentum.
opening door. Suddenly, we have 2 weeks. We were in a stall, right? We
Yes.
were in a halt. I was looking like, okay, something, why is not happening? We felt like something was stopped for 2 weeks. One person left and suddenly opens doors and windows. I start opening here, there. On Tuesday, David, I got an interview. Somebody interviewed me from Israel. The same day that explosion, I got an interview. Somebody was interviewing me from Israel in Spanish. What they're going to do is they're
And
going to
yesterday-
promote it.
And yesterday
From Mexico, the Jewish community from Mexico interviewed me yesterday.
Fantastic.
So what happened is this Jewish community, they're going to start talking to the Jewish community in United States to tell them, hey, you need to help out this woman because we're going to need her in
At
Congress to defend not only the babies, to stop the killing of babies, the abortion, the genocide is going on, to defend Israel, but also we need to defend President Trump.
Yes.
Because President Trump is being attacked too much,
From that seat.
too far
From that seat.
from the Congress, from those representatives who are in control of the Congress, the Democrat.
And from the seat of Hank Johnson. He was bragging about to be the brains behind the impeachment of President Trump.
Well, we know it ain't brains. I don't know what it is, but he reminds me of that he's full of shift.
Well, it's a strategy.
He was bragging. He says stupid things. People, like I'm saying, we need to focus in this. He says stupid things. People are the same thing Chavez used to do. Maduro is doing the same thing. You know how they call Maduro? Burro. You know what is burro? Donkey. You know what is the concept of burro or donkey in Latino America? Means somebody stupid, not intelligent, somebody dumb. That's what it means, burro or donkey. So he used to say, the burro is speaking, the burro. But they didn't realize what he was doing with the Constitution right here. And look how he got the country now.
He's been in power since
when?
day
long.
one.
And so he's not stupid, because he wouldn't be stupid and idiot and not intelligent. He wouldn't be a president.
One other thing, this show will be downloaded and on our website while you're doing your other show, your second show in Spanish. Brett's going to be downloading it, and people, please go to our website, americaswebradio.com, and download it, and download the link and send it to your friends. Send it to everyone you know. We've got to have people like Johsie in Congress to protect us from the Democrats, the Democraps, and we've got to have them. And Hank Johnson, if you're listening or any of your people are listening, again, I throw out the challenge, come and debate. We'll give you an hour with Johsie and
Whatever time he needed.
Whatever time
3 hours or 4 hours, he needs to look for words,
Yeah.
Whatever time he needed.
He might need
I will
to-
have all my patience for him.
he might need to bring a map of the Pacific too. And look up Guam and see how it's doing.
So pray. So pray for my campaign. The door is opening doors and windows. And pray for the Jewish community. I'm on the mission right now to reach for the Jewish community.
Oh, one other question. If somebody wants to contribute to the campaign, be it $5, $10, $10,000, whatever, how do they do it?
Well, they can go to my website. They have two ways of doing it. Either going to my website and they can do it through PayPal or the credit card, or the other one is sending a check to the address there is in the website. Okay? And the check should be in the name of Johsie Cruz for America LLC. Okay? So if it's
Not more than $2,800.
Yeah, per person. No
Per
more than $2,800 per person. So if you have 5 members in the family and you want to donate $2,800 per each one, that is allowed. But one person cannot contribute more than $2,800. It's against the law. Okay? So, another information is I cannot receive money from countries outside United States. The money has to come from within. That's why when I gave the interview to Mexico, the Jewish community in Mexico, when they interviewed me from Israel, what they are going to do is they're going to call their family members and the friends who live in United States, let them know what is my agenda, why I am running, why I want to put and stand up for the attack of Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, AOC, Bernie Sanders, Ayanna Pressley, Elizabeth Warren, who hate so much, and Johsie is going to be gone. So, who hate so much Israel, they want to let them know, you need to support this woman. You need to send her donations. That's what they're doing this. The help is coming from outside through mouth or word of mouth.
Word of
mouth.
That's great. All people have to do is drive through your district and see what Hank Johnson's done with your money. He's put it in his pocket, and he hadn't given a bit of it to the inner city as far as improvements, as far as anything, from potholes to garbage collection. In fact, he should be in the garbage, but he hadn't done anything for the infrastructure of the 4th District.
The 4th District since the Olympic Games in 1996. Okay.
That was the last time when they have infrastructure.
So
we're talking about what, 30 years ago? 20 years? No, 30 years.
Yeah, a little bit more than 25 years, because this kind of
like 28 years.
Like 28 years.
Yes.
So
I remember I got here on the 93.
Okay.
And then I was telling my father, come on, papi, let's go to Georgia, Atlanta. There is the Olympic. And my father said, no, mija, it's too long. It's like a 12-hour driving. I didn't have no notion at that moment when I got here, the territory, how extensive the territory is.
And it's just 2 states. Okay.
Well, we've got to get rid of Hank Johnson and folks like him, basically all Democrats, and want to turn, I mentioned this to you before we started the show, but anybody supporting Biden that doesn't know about it, but Biden was endorsed by the Communist Party, which makes him a communist.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to live under communism under any circumstance.
But also Biden was endorsed by CLARE, the political Islamic organization in United States that promotes the destruction of America, because they want to bring Sharia law from the local level all the way to the top. Since Obama couldn't make it from the top to the bottom, now they're working in the other way. They're doing it from the bottom to the top.
So if you want to bring some money to the campaign, it's www.Johsie Cruz, JOHSIE CRUZ 2020
And if you got any questions, you can always email Johsie at americaswebradio.com. And it'll go directly to Johsie, and she will get back to you, or Kat will get back to you. Somebody will get back to you.
Kat is going to get back to you. Yes, for sure.
And, folks, this is, ever since I can remember, every election has been the most important. But this one comes down, do you want to live in chains? Do you want to be answering to somebody all the time, the communist? Or do you want the freedom that we've lived with and enjoyed? I guarantee you one thing, that we don't have a veteran one that does a show or that I haven't interviewed or has some kind of relationship to the station, that if the communists try to take over, they're in for a rude surprise. You'll see more weapons coming out of closets than you could imagine. And veterans like myself, we will stand up and fight. And our kids will stand up and fight. And that's why we have to have Johsie and people like Johsie, other Republicans. We've got to get rid of these progressive, liberal, not worth a damn Democrats. What have they done for you? What has Biden ever done, period? Biden and Johnson could be twin brothers. Neither one of them accomplished anything.
Good, no. They accomplished some bad stuff. For example, Biden accomplished to get rid of the House on American Activities Committee. He got rid of that. That's why we're having the problem today, because he got rid of that committee that stopped anti-American activities group. Second of all, he promoted the mass incarceration of a lot of poor people, including the mass incarceration of the black community in Hank Johnson's district, the most. District number 4, district number 5, and district number 13. So that's what Joe Biden did with Clinton's. Remember, in 1993, that's when he signed that bill of the mass incarceration. When they used to call the
three strikes, you are out.
Exactly. When he used to call the black men a super predator, the same time as Hillary Clinton used to call them the same thing. Other thing that he did, for example, to the Spanish community and the Latinos community, is the administration of Barack Obama Biden administration deported the most Latinos back
in
to their
history
country.
of the United States.
Yeah.
And we'll be back.
If your health insurance premium is more than your mortgage, Ellen Deal with Ideal Solutions is here to help. Whether you're a small business owner, individual, family, or baby boomer, email MAGA45CAG@gmail.com and I'll respond with 3 easy questions to help you determine if you can get away from Obamacare. As a 20-year veteran of the insurance industry, I'm here to help with all your insurance needs. Email Ellen Deal at MAGA45CAG@gmail.com.
The disease of addiction is a life-altering challenge, not just for the person suffering its effects, but also for the family and friends who support and love the one caught in its grasp. What should be the course of treatment? Who is the best person to render treatment? And what is the best place to go for the care that is needed? We know that you want answers to these and many more questions. Call 770-696-9862 and speak to a representative of the Atlanta Healing Center. They can tailor a program specifically designed to address the needs of the person suffering with an addiction, or give you guidance as to where that help may be found. Information is the key, and the trained staff at AHC is here to assist. If you wish, you can also get more information on the website located at www.atlantahealingcenter.com.
You're listening to America's Web Radio, and I wanted to interject my 2 cents worth in here, and again asks that if whatever you can afford to support Johsie, be it $5, $10, $100, whatever, she is here to stop, and there's a reason that she's here. She's had a calling to do this, and the most powerful is taking care of her as well, and will. And she has been sent on a mission, and that's to get a Satanist out of office after 20 years.
Amen.
And do what's right for you, the voter, in the 4th District. So please, if you're not in the 4th District, you can still send in a contribution. Or if you've got friends or family that are in the 4th District, support Johsie. Again, money's good, but she also needs help in her campaign, just going door to door and people talking about her. Word of mouth is the most powerful tool in any campaign. And to know her is to love her, to know her story of Venezuela.
Well, it's like a Vietnam because it's like Somalia now. It's out of control.
Out of control.
Oh yeah, it's out of control.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna give you a little bit of gossip. What's going on in Venezuela? I just find out like lately. Okay, the problem with Venezuela, Venezuela was with Chavez.
Wait a second. Let me preface this.
Uh-huh.
If you want to live and be in a story like Josie's just about to tell, you vote for Hank Johnson and Biden. I'm sorry, Johsie, go again.
Go ahead, honey. So, when Chavez came in, he brought along the Cubans with him, the communists, That's how they took over the country. But there was a point in Venezuela, breaking point, where the Islamists start financing Venezuela politicians. That is Nicolás Maduro. Today, it's not the Cubans are disputing the power in Venezuela. You know what they did? They are withdrawing a little bit, like a setting back, and they're letting Hezbollah and Hamas fighting and deciding who's going to take charge in Venezuela when Nicolás Maduro and Diosdado Cabello, with the Department of Justice here, they have a price in their head, right, because of drug. Remember? So when they become prisoners and were in hotel, what you call it?
The Trump Guantanamo
Resort. When they become resident of the Guantanamo prison, so Hezbollah and Hamas are disputing now who's gonna get the control of Venezuela. That's what's going on. And then if we do not act now here in United States, the people who are financing this anarchist group here, the people who are financing the Antifa, the people who are financing all this group that hate America, destroying monuments, destroying museums, destroying our history. Even the Museum of Sport in Atlanta was destroyed. Did you know about that?
No.
What it got to do with the slavery, the sport? Well, if we don't stop these people who are financing all this group, and the money is coming from the Islamist nations, it's going to happen the same thing in the United States. A year back.
And the money's also coming from China.
Yes,
a lot of it from
communists,
China.
yes.
And why would we care, and why would they care? One, we're the richest country in the world as far as our natural resources go. And secondly, they've always wanted to conquer the United States. Now, if you think we're kidding or you think I'm kidding, check out what's happening with our National Guard right now. Our government is very concerned about the potential of what could happen. And our friend Michael Conley, who has passed away now, but he did our Constitution for many years, and he wrote a book about it. This goes back 20 some odd years ago, that he wrote a book that details exactly what's happening now. And I'm going to get a copy of it and show it to everyone. And that, we say it can't happen, but folks, it can happen. And Dr. CLK in my hometown told me, this goes back 40 years ago, 50 years ago, that the communists will take us from within. And that's exactly what they're doing, and you can hear about it. They're taking us from the university level down to high school, down to rewriting history.
Yes.
The pandemic, like one of our good buddy colonels says, there are no coincidences. This has been planned for years and years and years. And we've got to have people in our Congress and people in the swamp. And I know Cruz, that Josie's not going to go to the swamp, but we need people in Washington, D.C. that will defend us. And I mean you, me, everybody. And quite frankly, you couldn't buy a weapon right now if you wanted to. But if you have one, be sure it's ready.
Yes.
You'll need it.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
So, I appreciate you letting me take some of your time. Again, Hank, Hanky Panky, if you're listening, you're welcome to come explain to us how Guam is listing and falling into the Pacific. Or while you're here, maybe you'd like to debate Josie and find out what it's really. And we could do it this Tuesday on Point with Victor. That would be a great time. Victor could maybe ask you some questions that you could answer or understand. Victor's on the second grade level. No, I'm just teasing. Victor is great, and he does a great interview.
He's a brilliant.
And we could stoop as low as you are, Hank. And heck, if you look under the table, I might leave you a dollar bill, and I bet you'd grab it. It's where you got most of your money, is under the table. Hank, you want to defend yourself, give me a call, 470-223-4979, and let's set up a time for you to debate Josie Cruz, right here on America's Web Radio.
And we don't want to finish like somebody yesterday called me from Venezuela.
What did he say?
She's a lady.
Oh, it's a lady. Okay.
Okay. Her name, I'll reserve her name because it could be very bad for her. But she told me, listen, Carlos, we've been in a waiting line in a gas station for the last 8 days.
Woo!
Good God.
Okay.
One of the richest oil countries in the world, and she's been waiting in line for petrol. Well, obviously it has to go to a refinery and all of that, but still.
8 days waiting in a line for fulfill her tank. If she got it. Okay? So that makes you think about what's really going on in Venezuela. Winston Churchill said that if you leave the communists in charge of the Sahara Desert in 5 years, you'll have no sand at all.
That's
okay?
right. That's right.
So,
good old Winston.
Good old Winston. Yes. So when you see what's going on right now in Venezuela, you don't want that to be happening in the United States.
Unfortunately, it is happening in the United States in the first stages of what happened in Venezuela.
Yes.
And folks, we are not kidding. The fake news isn't going to tell you this.
Nope.
And, you know, unfortunately, our president does know what's going on, and yet he can't say anything because people just don't believe him, and that's a shame because he does. But at least we have Trump. The fear of God would be having somebody like Hillary, Biden, or Obama. Any one of those would be apologizing for using the bathroom, and we don't need that. We need somebody that can stand up to these folks and do something about it. And we've seen the Democratic fools in Portland, in Seattle,
in Washington, D.C., in the whole United States, you know, and that's the sad note, you know, that our educational system, because this is something that came progressively. When somebody says that he's a progressive,
that means that he's gonna punch you slowly to the point that you're gonna fall off without no conscience.
Exactly.
That's what it means.
That was progressively they are putting into the communist or the socialist system. And do you know something? They don't give nothing about your, you know, goodwill or your
they don't care about what you feel. They use your feelings. They use your feelings. People, listen carefully. They will use your feelings for them to get into power. When they get into power, and you who help them out get into power because you acted on your feeling, then you see that they could not deliver in their promises. Mm-hmm. And then you're gonna say, hey, hold on. You're not delivering. What's going on? When they start listening that you're complaining, you are the first one to go down. Mm-hmm. That's it.
They have taken your money with them.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. That's well. The last note is that yesterday, Mrs. Blanca Rodriguez de Perez, a former First Lady of Venezuela, passed away. Mm-hmm. So,
well,
rest in peace.
Rest in peace if you can have peace.
Amen.
Okay, so we need to inform everybody that the second hour of Let's Talk Venezuelan in Spanish. We're the only station in the country that does the same show, 1 hour in English, 1 hour in Spanish. And again, you all can do it in Spanish. Challenge Hanky Panky to come be on America's Web Radio and debate Johsie. And you know, like I said, I know he likes things under the table, so I'm gonna
we promise that will be a debate on ideas on our side. I don't know in the other side if
I will debate on idea. I'm not even gonna attack him personally or nothing like that, because I am not a socialist. I am not a communist who do those kind of stuff.
Well, I'm a capitalist too, and like I said, I'm going to put a dollar bill taped under the table, and I bet it's gone when Hanky Panky leaves.
Amen.
It'll just sort of attach to his leg and his pocket and his mouth. So, Hanky Panky, you've been challenged, and if you don't want to come in here, you can come in on Tuesday at 2 o'clock for On Point with Victor Armendariz. Yes. Armendariz. Anyway, come on down. Right now it's time that, we got about a minute to go before we get into Spanish. Correct? Okay, you're saying speed it up or get out of here? Get out of here?
Get out of here.
You're listening
there we
to
go.
America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.